about leading people, who has the biggest need?
All of them.
All of them. And if you cannot diversify your leadership skills enough to help the overachiever, the doer, and the unmotivated, then you're surely not being a leader. We got to be able to adapt and understand. We got to be a student, right? A leader is a true learner, right? I think Paul pointed out something. I think Ron even talked about it in CEO Circle. We can't just tell them what to do. We have to actually show them. And I want to be careful with even saying show them. We have to be there with them. Be there with them. Take the call with them. Go through the process with them. Actually walk through the whole thing with them. If we don't, we are going to get the results in which we invested in, and that is really nothing to little, right? We have to do it with them. If we want to show someone how to do it the best way, then we actually have to show them with them. And guess what? The overachiever is going to show themselves. The doer is going to show themselves. And so is the unmotivated, right? So you have to be willing to understand that. Just so you guys know, leadership is not just about the title. You can lead customers into believing in what we do enough to sign up, right? You can lead other people that want to work for a great company or have a great opportunity, a referral partner. You have to lead them. Hey, I want to build some trust with you. And so if you bring me a customer, this is what I'll do for you, right? Vulnerability, telling them the story, the journey, confessing the mess, the struggles, right? People need to know that they're not a what? They're not alone. Everybody has that same need. They don't want to be alone. If I do this alone, I'm less likely to be successful if I even want to show back up. And we have people that are in a group, but yet they still feel alone. Why? Because no one's spending the time to build a relationship. Let me tell you one thing that I hope all of you take a hold of. Behavior is communication. People are they're telling you every day, all day, what's going on, maybe not in detail. The behavior is communication. So they're telling you something's up. It either could be something good or it could be something bad. People tend to only want to talk about the good things, right? But behavior is communication. And what we do with that communication is what makes us from wannabe leaders to true transformational leaders. When we say and we see someone is communicating with me that they're not going through good times right now, that they're struggling, that they're frustrated, they don't have trust in the system or the process, they're telling me things I need to address. And not necessarily in a negative way. They're saying, hey, I have a need. Hey, over here. That's what's happening. They're waving the flag and saying, hey, can you help me out? They may not be saying that in real life, but they're saying that internally. That they have a need, they need to be fulfilled. So remember, write that down. Behavior is communication. You want to know what people are doing? Just watch their behavior. And thinking about the foreman that saved the 33 men, 70 days trapped with 33 guys in a small cave. A cave that had no hope to get out. A cave that was dark, right? A cave that was not meant for people to live in, much less be there for 70 days. Thinking about the foreman that took 33 men that showed up that day for work thinking that they would leave to go home that day. Think about it. One man decided he had to be a leader. And 33 men he had to convince and influence and build trust. And guess what the trust was for? He wasn't selling solar. He wasn't trying to make investments. He wasn't giving something for free. What he was doing is he was literally selling hope. And did you think he didn't encounter whether hope was going to be real or not? 70 days. I got to imagine that in those 70 days, there were 69 nights of doubt that probably knocked at his door every night. I got to imagine that if there wasn't doubt that knocked at his door, I'm sure one of the 33 men probably had some outbursts or conversation or words that made him even be afraid. I got to imagine that 33 guys in a cave where it's dark, no food, barely any oxygen, and no real hope of light or ever to see their family again. I got to imagine that it wasn't that easy to sit there and just wait 70 days. What a leader. For him to overcome the doubt, the imaginative hope at some days, to sit there and individually tell each and every one of those men, listen, we're going to make it. Somebody, somehow, some way is going to get to us. I can imagine he probably had to fake it till you made it. There probably was some days where he heard from no one. There's probably some days where it was really hard. Can you imagine someone actually having a mental breakdown, thinking they're never going to get out, and that their last days was amongst 33 other men in the dark cave? Man, what a leader to help someone, if not 33 men that showed up just for work, to come out of that cave 70 days later to say, hey, it was just a long shift. What kind of attitude do you have to have? What kind of preparation do you have to have? I don't know his background or his educational level, but does any of that matter? All I know is that he held on to hope, even as thin as it was, all 70 days. All 70 days. Guys, people are going to show up and they're in a cave in their life. They're incarcerated with the thoughts that they have. Their mind is in a yellow jumpsuit with the name of I don't have any hope on the back. Some of you deal with that too. I've dealt with that. Where the only sound we have in our head is the chains that hit the ground on our feet because we are locked up inside and there's very little hope. And if we can have that in this room where a lot of you have been successful on many levels in this company, imagine what's on the outside of this room. Imagine who sits there in a nice suit and sits across from you to try to get an interview to work here. Don't worry about what they look like on the side. Imagine what they got going on in the inside. Even if they walk like they got everything together, they talk like they get everything together, doesn't mean they don't have the same type of need that might creep up on them too. I took that story and I really dissected it because I want you all to imagine yourselves in this world. And we have a lot of people that go through the dark times and they're in the caves, and we have to be the leader that calms them down, that paints the picture of hope. Hey, look, you're going to make money. You're going to do well here. You're going to be successful. You don't have to worry about the past, right? If the past comes up, just deal with it. And guess what? You ain't got to deal with it alone. We're going to do it together, right? When you put on that shirt, it's just not about being employed by Set of My Solar. It's about being a part of what? A family. And you're not going to be alone anymore. That is what we do here, and that's what we got to continue to do. And we got to do it in big ways, right?